Hi there, it's Sandra here from createinspain, and today I thought I would show you two apps that I use to do designing. The first one is Concepts and the second one is Procreate, and it depends on what I want to do as to which one I actually use. So what I thought I would do is give you a slight guide to the difference between the two. They are both very powerful drawing and painting apps, there is no doubt about it. But they both have their strong points and they both have their weaknesses. So I'm starting off with Concepts. Now Concepts looks a little different to most arty type apps, but it is very powerful and it is very, very good. Now I've got a little giraffe drawing here that I did. I did it a while ago, but if I wanted to come in and edit it, would I be able to do so? Well, the answer is actually yes. And yet you can see I only have one layer. I don't have lots of layers, but I can still edit any part of this any way I like after I finish doing the drawing, during the drawing, or any time. So what's the difference between this and editing in another app, i.e. Procreate? Well, Procreate doesn't allow you to pick each individual stroke easily, not unless you've put each stroke in an individual layer. So this is what I'm talking about. I can come in here and I have my item picker selected. Now this means if I tap anywhere on here, it will select that particular thing and I can edit it. Now over here is my color wheel on my tool. So if you look at that line there, I can go to the line thickness and I can make it a lot thicker if I want to. I can take it back down again. I could change the colour of it if I wanted to. So I've made it pink. I can change how straight or otherwise it is, how smooth the line is by adjusting this on here. As you can see, it will make quite a difference to the line. I can also change the transparency of the stroke. Now this being a pale pink, it wouldn't actually show up very much, but as you can see, it's getting paler and paler and paler until I put it back to its normal value. So I'm going to put that back to black again. Now you notice this wheel comes out, and this is the Copic color wheel. So if you are keen on your Copics and you want to do a design and make sure it is Copic friendly, this is really handy. So that's the editing part of it. Now the main difference with this is it is actually a vector drawing app. And what I mean by vector is basically a vector draws like a dot to dot. It's a mathematical formula and that's how it does it. Non-vector ones basically, whoops, I've got my line straightening on here. Non-vector ones are in little blocks, if you like. And that's why sometimes if you've got a print which is printed out far too large, it'll be pixelated, because that's how it is. With a vector drawing, you can scale it up or down as much as you like and it will still be a good quality. Doesn't make any difference whether I want that 3 inches high or 3 feet, it'll still be fine, even 3 meters. So that is the main difference between the normal non-vector drawing apps and that particular type, which is SVG. So I've gone through the infinite editing. We've also got the ability to cut lines as well. So we've got a cut tool, we've got nudge tools, we've got a few different types of brushes, but you can design your own brushes in the same way that you can do it in Procreate. You can do it in Concepts now. Didn't used to be able to, but they introduced it a while back. You've also got the ability to snap. So if I click on this and click on options, key points, snap to grid, autocomplete, and active layer or all layers, depending on how you want to set it up. And that means that when you're drawing something, things will snap into place, like they do with Inkscape and all the other normal computer-based apps. You have guides in here, so you can do things like lines, arcs, angles, ellipses and rectangles if you so wish. You have the ability to put in lots on lots of layers, and they will either be done automatically or you can manually control those. And you can have line measurements showing up as well if that's what you want to do. So as I draw, it measures my line. Not something I generally want, but if you're into architecture or planning, garden design, that sort of stuff, then it may interest you. So those are the good points of concepts. Now, what are the bad points? And I had to think very carefully. One of the main ones is there is no bucket fill. There is a tool that you can use for drawing which allows you to draw solid shapes, but it's a little bit limiting. Let me show you. Let's just tap on here a second. There we go. And I'm going to go for my fill tool. And this is what happens with the fill tool. Okay. Fun if you want some patterns maybe, but it's not always the best of things to, for example, do a flower shape. You might end up with gaps where you don't actually want them. So that is a negative, the fill or the lack of bucket fill. There is no masking in concepts, probably because it's so infinitely variable you probably don't need to mask a great deal, but there isn't any. And they don't have what I class as multicolour brushes. Now, if you've not come across multicolour brushes before, they've recently put them into Procreate and they are amazing fun. But Concepts doesn't have them. So that is Concepts. Now the other one, which is Procreate, and let me just take this off of here so you can see we've got layers again. This is more traditional, the usual sort of thing that you would see when you've got an art app. It is it's more the expected layout, shall we say. That's probably the most accurate. It's more the expected layout. Now with Procreate you have a lot more standard brushes, and those happen to be my multicolour brushes, which I'll go into later on. But you've got lots of different varieties. You've got calligraphy, you've got watercolour, abstract ones, spray paints, and you can make your own brushes, add loads and loads of brushes yourself, and I frequently do. So that's one thing. It has a bucket fill. So if, for example, I go to my inking section and I've got a technical pen here and I draw a shape and I close it, I can take my colour and it will fill it. That's bucket fill. That is actually quite a useful thing to have. It has masking. So if, for example, I were to fill this with, let's put in a pale colour, like so. Okay, I can go to my masking tool and I can mask it off. So I can have an automatic mask, I can invert my mask, I can feather it, I can get rid of it, I can add things to the mask. All the sorts of things that you can do in Inkscape and Adobe and all those things, they're in here. So that's one of the definite pluses. On the minus side, it is not easy to edit individual strokes later, and it is not a vector app. This is probably one of the main reasons why I frequently go to Concepts. It's because it isn't easy to edit individual strokes later. And quite often I want to do that. Maybe I found that I haven't closed a path that I should have closed. Maybe I've discovered I've left something in it that I don't want in it, and I've put it into my Cutter software, and I found a flaw that means it's not suitable for what I want to use it for, but I can go back into Concepts and I can adjust it a lot more easily than I can if I've got it in Procreate, because it's not a vector app, and I can't just pick out a line, tap on it and say, right, okay, I'll get rid of that. It doesn't work that way. So that is the reason why I am more inclined to use Concepts if I'm making specific cut files. But, you know, it depends on what you want to actually do. Now, when it comes to these multicolored ones, oh, they are really, really good fun. And I will go into my multicolored and show you what I'm talking about. I have created a duplicate soft pencil and I have applied some color dynamics to it. Now, these are the color dynamics recently brought into Procreate a couple of months back, I think. And it allows you to basically use a paint stroke and it comes out in different colors as you're stroking. So let me demonstrate, it'd be easier. I'm going to clear the drawing pad and I'm going to put a colour in here so it doesn't come out in black and white, because that would defeat the object. Now, I've already altered these settings a bit, so I know it is going to come out in different colours, like that, depending on how much pressure I put on and the speed, and it can be on the angle, the jitter of the stroke, all sorts of things, but it will come out multicoloured, which is great fun indeed. And if I want to do something with this, I would have fun doing some doodles, for example. Do that and go back into inking, pick my technical pen, make it relatively small. I'll make it darker though so you can actually see it. And so I'm going to put some little feet on here. I'm going to put a beak on, and I'm going to put some wings in, and put some eyes in, maybe put in some tail feathers, and go to white, make that a little bit bigger, put some white above there. There we go. Make it yellow and put some yellow in where the beak is. There we go, and I have a little chick. A good deal of fun, and obviously, you know, you can play around with this to your heart's content. Now, the great thing is with masking on this, you could actually mask relatively easily, and you can then create objects with sharp lines. So for example, in here, what have I got? Here we go. This pear is done with a mask, so make the shape, mask it off, go over it with a multicolored brush, and hey presto, you've got a pear. This one has just been done without a mask, and I've just done the same little doodle as I did for the chick just now, but in a different colour. And I just added some straight lines and it makes it look a bit like a dandelion. This one was masked off from a triangle, and then I just went over it with white lines to put the branches in. So you can see this is really quite handy if you are doing things like stickers and things to go on card fronts and that sort of stuff. So there we go. That's it. Procreate is $9.99 one-off. As I said, I don't know what Concepts Pro is these days. I've had it for so long, and I think they went to a model where you could pay a one-off fee or you can go for a subscription, but I couldn't swear to it. Both of them are available from the App Store. And I suggest if you are looking for something to help you with your drawing, then you have a look at these two. If nothing else, they are very handy for practicing your sketching, for practicing your drawing without going through reams of paper. And that makes them well worth the $9.99 in Procreate's case. and I definitely approve of both of them. They are well used by me. So that's it. I hope you find that useful and that you will think about trying these two out, or at least one of them. Thanks for watching. Take care now.